Many of you have asked this question: how to improve thinking skills and bring about emotional control and regulation. Now, this is not a very easy task, because thinking, as we understand, for our own purposes of understanding, happens in 3 stages or 3 steps. The first step is called the information gathering stage. At the information gathering stage, what happens? We have to learn to gather or collect data systematically. We need to focus on the relevant. We need to be systematic and not impulsive. And we also need to pay attention to our own attention span. See, for example, if you take a very small situation like solving a word problem. So the child reads the sum. So he has to systematically search, underline the keywords, what is the data given, what has to be done. So even when he gathers information, he has to do it systematically, and he has to do it with a focus. Simultaneously, as he is gathering information, he has to start thinking what is the operation he has to do. So that is the next stage of thinking, which is called the processing stage. So information gathering stage, next is the information processing stage. So at the information processing stage, what happens if you take the same analogy of a mathematical problem? You have to start thinking. So given these 2 numbers, what should I do? What is the problem? Define the problem first, and then analyze and synthesize. For example, in many situations, when you face a certain problem, you need to analyze or break a whole into parts. Sometimes you have to put together parts to get the solution. So that is at the processing stage. These are the thinking skills which are important. So next is comparing and contrasting. So you need to compare and contrast, especially when you're taking a decision. For decision making or making a choice, you compare. You see the similarities, see the differences, weigh the pros and cons, and come to a conclusion. Then comes the abstraction or abstract level of thinking. You move over from the concrete level of what is given to the process level of abstraction, or doing it in your mind. And empathetic thinking means looking at it from another person's perspective, or becoming another person, or putting yourself in the other person's shoe. All this happens at the processing stage, which you cannot see. The input stage you can see. The child is being impulsive or not distracted or hyperactive, whatever. But the processing stage is equally distracting and restless and unfocused if the information gathered is not gathered systematically. It's like stacking things in your shelf. The output stage of thinking, or the expressive stage, what happens? You learn to restrain your impulsivity and communicate in a way that you are understood. And here, the very important factor many of you have asked is emotional control and regulation. You have to learn to give your answers or communicate in a very mature way, so that what you are saying is understood clearly by the listener. So what your output is the input of another person. So whatever output you are giving is what the other person is receiving. So thinking happens even without our conscious awareness. It's going on all the time.